Hi everyone. Welcome to this tutorial where I'll walk you through the pricing spreadsheet I created to help you price your handmade craft items with confidence and accuracy. We'll go through the spreadsheet together and you'll see it's very simple, automated, and easy to use, and it's going to save you a ton of time and also provide you with a consistent pricing method. Let's get into it. We'll start with the first page of the spreadsheet, the About page. This page is your quick reference guide. It includes everything I'll cover in this tutorial but in written form. So if you ever need a refresher or just want to double-check something without re-listening to the whole video, this is the place to go. You don't need to make any changes on this page. It's just here to help you stay on track. Now let's move on to the monthly pages. You'll find them at the bottom of your spreadsheet. These are customizable. If you'd rather organize by years or by projects instead of months, that's totally fine. To rename a tab, just double-click the name and type in your new title. If you want to add a new month, simply right-click, copy one of the existing tabs, rename it, and you're good to go. This setup helps you keep everything organized as you track your work over time. Let's start entering some items. I'll give you a quick explanation of each column while showing different examples. I've pre-entered a crochet item, and in the next section, I'll create a different type of craft. The crochet frog in your spreadsheet is only an example and you should remove it before entering your items. Quantity: the number of finished items you've created. In this example, I made one amigurumi frog. Inventory of items created: the name or description of the item. In my example, crochet frog. SKU: a custom code or label for your item. This is optional and doesn't affect how the spreadsheet works. Supplies purchased: the materials you bought to make your item. Description: a short explanation of each supply. This helps you remember what you used if you want to recreate the item later. For example, I used 2 colors of loops and threads yarn, plastic eyes, and polyester fill. Quantity per package: how much of the supply comes in one package. I work in grams, so I entered the total grams for each skein of yarn. If you prefer using yards, enter the yardage instead. For the eyes, I entered 2 since the package contained 2. Cost of package: the price you paid for one full package. For example, green yarn, $5.99. Plastic eyes, $4.45. Polyester fill, $27.95. Quantity used: how much of the supply you used for that specific item. I used all 198 grams of the green yarn, 100 grams of the white yarn, and 2 eyes. If you bought multiple packages, you can either enter them in separate rows or just input the total amount used. The spreadsheet will still calculate it correctly. For example, if one skein 198g is $5.99, and you purchased 2 skein and used 300 grams total, the system understands that you have more than one and calculates a cost of $9.08. This will save you time and space. Cost of supply used: this is calculated automatically based on how much of each supply was used. You now have a clear understanding of exactly how much it cost you to create this item. This frog cost me $15.19 to produce. If I was to create many of the same frog, I could simply add them to the quantity and you will see that the cost to produce these 2 frogs has been updated to the new price. Now let's look at a second example, a decorative macrame cord bowl. I created one bowl. I'll add the item name and SKU if I'm using one. I'm not adding the SKU at this point to save time on the tutorial. Then, like the previous item, you add the list of supplies used. I used one package of 3mm cotton cord. But remember, if you want the system to calculate the exact cost of producing the item, you cannot add one cord, you will have to add the amount included in the package. One roll of cord equals 220 yards. The cord cost me $25.42. I used about 200 yards, which comes out to $23.11 worth of cord. I also used hot glue, Bosch brand. A pack of 12 sticks cost $18.99. I used 8 sticks for this project. I made a small heart decoration for the bowl. This is part of the finished item, so I included it. Keep in mind, even though it's listed under items created, only the first row is picked up by the formula as the actual finished product. Everything else is treated as a supply used to make that one item. This spreadsheet is designed to handle projects with many supplies, and because of the formulas, you can't insert new rows. As you can see, this system is very versatile. You just need to enter your information and it does the rest. Now this next section is where your price will be calculated. If you don't enter anything, the system will suggest a price based on the cost to create the item, so you don't end up selling at a loss. You'll first enter your markup. This will update the selling price and show you your profit. Next, you can enter your labor cost, including the number of hours worked and your hourly rate. When this is filled in, the system adds your markup and labor cost together to calculate a new selling price and an updated profit. You don't have to enter both markup and labor. It's completely up to you. If you just want to calculate a markup, that's totally fine. Finally, there's a section for discounts so you can see how much of a discount you can offer without going below your cost. The next section is a summary of the products you created for the month. Everything you've entered will automatically appear here, giving you a convenient overview of all your items and their prices in one place. If you don't agree with the suggested price, you can enter your own final price, and the system will recalculate your profit based on that amount. If you attend craft shows, fairs, or markets, you're going to love this section. If you don't, no worries, just skip it. It won't affect anything else in the spreadsheet. This section lets you add your market expenses, which is important because you want those costs to be covered by your sales. The system will automatically distribute those expenses evenly across all the items you've created, helping you maintain fair and accurate pricing. Last but not least, the final page is the inventory page. If you choose to use it, this section will help you track all your supplies. Super useful for staying organized and especially helpful at year-end. Let's try a quick example. I purchased one package of plastic eyes with 2 eyes per package, calculated by units. The package cost $4.99. I used both eyes, so I now have none left in my stash. Next, I got some white yarn. To keep this tutorial short, I won't go into all the details, but here's the idea. The skein had 198 grams. You will choose your measure with this drop-down menu. For the yarn, I used grams. And I used 100 grams. The cost for the yarn was $6.99. That means I now have 98 grams of white yarn left in my stash, with a remaining inventory value of $3.46. On this side, you'll see the inventory of the items you've created. This is especially helpful for keeping track of what you still have in stock. Great for year-end organization and for knowing what to bring to craft shows if you attend them. And that brings us to the end of the tutorial. The link to download the spreadsheet is in the comments.